Right there.
Hmm?
Here.
Mike.
Hey, is that it?
Yep.
Let me get rid of that.
If you can, honey.
I hate these stupid things. I'm trying to, I thought one thing says I'm in and one says I'm waiting to join.
No, you've been on the whole time.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Yep.
Okay. How do I get rid of that thing? I hate these.
You guys
Zoom
get
things.
my minutes?
I did,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry, guys, I got this big thing, video preview with me waiting, and here I am talking down here in the other corner.
Well, let's.
I'm already on.
I can't explain it, honey. You can get on your phone if you want to do the phone.
Hold on, guys, I'm trying to, I hate computers.
Just do the phone. Do you have it on your phone?
I don't know.
Well, you're on. You just can't see. No, you don't have it on your phone.
How do we just?
Take it here. There you are.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
Hey.
Oh, we have all 5 of us already. And +1, +2. I guess we can call this meeting to order. It is what, 5:31, 5:32. Has everyone looked over the minutes that Jack sent out?
Just make one correction on the Harlan Valley wasn't the only bidder. Century also bid on the gravel.
But I think you said Harlan Valley was the best price, right?
Yeah, it was the lowest price at those, yeah.
Anyone else have anything to change or add? Of course, it was just me and Jack and Rick anyways, right? So I'm fine with it, other than that correction. Jack?
Yeah, I'll make the correction.
Okay, so I moved we approve the minutes with that correction about Century bidding as well.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're good. Mr. Doherty, how have you been?
Pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, you're still with us?
I'm still with you.
Well, one of these days, I guess we're gonna have to buy a computer so I can be with you a little more promptly.
No problem.
Maybe.
I deal with this all day long on Zoom and different meetings.
Gotta be fun.
Yep.
Well, I see we have the finance board with us today. Maybe you could buy me a computer?
I think that's only Barbara. That's not the Board of Finance.
Oh, well, no answer either, so I'm guessing it's a no.
You can certainly have one of our refurbished ones.
Oh, yeah? No, I think I'm all right. I was only joking about that. So we'll figure it out. Thank you, though. So what's new, Mr. Doherty?
So we've been trying to push forward as much as we can with the easements because, well, I think they're going to be one of the things that, could be a holdup. And unfortunately, Attorney DeBella was out for 10 days or so after having surgery. So I do have a call scheduled with him next Tuesday, as well as with Mike Joyce from my office, who's the head of our highway department and kind of our expert on the right-of-way DOT process. So we've been in talks kind of informally with DOT just to give them a heads up of what we're doing. Not that really it's anything out of the ordinary. One interesting thing that came out of those discussions was that it is typical for a town to offer, or if it was the state, but in this case the town, when they're taking a tree down on a private property, to offer compensation for that tree. So that's something that we'll have to go through with the easements, but it is kind of a practice that they follow. The DOT follows it. They do offer some compensation for the removal of that tree.
So would that happen with the lawyers through the easement talks, or? But the selectmen need to know this as well, though, right?
Right.
Need to give him, okay.
Yeah. So when we talk to Attorney DeBella next week, well, I can shoot him an email. I just found this information out this evening, but I can give him a heads up to that effect. But it's not, typically an exorbitant amount. And if the tree is unhealthy or a very small tree, it obviously goes down. But
Right.
the DOT indicated, $1,000 was kind of the upper reaches of what they usually offer.
I would think, especially that tree is in such poor, it's not a very healthy tree. But from my understanding from Bruce Bennett, is that the people have spent a lot of money on trying to save that tree. So hopefully,
that
they'll
tree in
understand.
particular. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, Yeah, so certain trees like that, they could, they seem to have an affinity for the tree and want to keep it. So I think we'll do our best to keep it as well. But for other properties where we're taking trees down, um, again, I think I don't think anyone's been alerted to that effect. So I don't think the
Okay.
attorneys has sent any letters out yet to let them know about the impacts, which was one of our recommendations, that letter goes out before any kind of legal notice or offers,
Right.
just to
Does that,
let everybody
does that
know.
offer go out often when the tree is actually intruding on the sidewalks, like the roots are pushing the sidewalks up? I mean, I would think that in that case, they're intruding on the public property, and therefore you wouldn't have to compensate them to remove it because
That's
it's
a good
affecting
question.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
because
know
it's
the
affecting that.
Yeah, I don't know that specific answer to that. We can ask that of the DOT, but I think if the tree itself is on private property, then they don't really take into effect the roots that may be causing an issue in the right of way. But I can ask that.
Okay, that would be great.
Yep.
So that's pretty much where we stand with everything there, which, well,
Yeah, so
okay.
hopefully we can get that moving forward. And if people are amenable and they can just sign the waiver of compensation, the process will move much faster. But we
Right.
do need to get that really rolling.
Mhm. Other than that, how are you as far as getting the plans done and the bid process? I know you can't get it underway, but how are you as far as getting prepared for that?
We're in good shape. I'd say, we right now, we're calling our plans 75%, but I think they're more closer to 90%. And our specs, again, we're probably in 90% range to wrap those up. I still need to coordinate with the town in terms of the front end documents, insurance and the procurement process that the town goes through.
Right.
To get those documents, to add them in to create the whole manual.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
I've been in contact. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted. My bad.
That's all right. I've been in contact with Jean and Barbara periodically, so I think we just need to sit down, or Zoom call, and then really kind of just hash that out. I did send right before the call, so you may not have seen it. I'm trying to get a time frame in mind of terms of the bid and when it can go out. The loose ends of the easements make it a little difficult, but I'm hoping that we can kind of get everything done and advertised by late February. I think that's what I had in my email. That way we were still on track to start construction by May.
Okay. It sounds like the best we can do for start time anyways. May's, anything earlier than that is, April is most of the time pretty good, but these last couple of years we've had late storms and,
Yeah.
So be better if we could go in April, but, if that's the best we can get it, it'd be nice to push it as early as we can.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just, with the review time, not that it's a full technical review for this. And my biggest concern, again, is just having those easements all wrapped up so that the
Right.
project can go. Because the state won't sign off if we don't have that all finalized.
Okay. So basically, all right. So everyone's aware. The lawyers are on this, I hope.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're moving along pretty good with the plans.
Yeah. The only item hanging out there a little bit is just, I want to just finalize the exact limits, because I know there was previous talk of the TAP grant, and that kind of overlapped with our plan. So I'll touch base with Barbara and see what's going on there. And
Speaking of the TAP grant, I heard through the grapevine that we were awarded a portion of this TAP grant.
okay, yeah. So I still
I did not hear it from our selectmen or anyone else who is currently in our board of selectmen. But I have heard through a reliable source, I think, that we were awarded the TAP grant, and I'm hoping that that could be utilized towards this project and someone doesn't try and earmark it for something else. So I plan on.
It's very specific. I thought I had mentioned it at the last Streetscape meeting. We talked about it at a couple Board of Selectmen meetings. Yep, it was awarded. We got $500,000 more because they recosted the grant. So that was pretty huge. And it cannot be used for anything besides what it was applied for.
Well,
As you know, that's normal for grants.
do you know what it was applied for? My understanding.
Yeah,
that it
we have
was
the application.
Oh, so it's nothing concerning what we're talking about was on that application?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, my understanding was that everything east of the light would qualify for that TAP grant, and new sidewalk, possibly if it were to go to the Kent greenhouse, would be new sidewalks, and that would qualify for the TAP grant.
Yeah, I mean, we had one kickoff meeting with them, but that's pretty much my understanding.
Yeah, so is it public information to see that application?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it out to you guys.
Okay, that would be great, because if it works for the east, part east of the light, I think that it should be utilized there. We have talked about, and we're the third committee, and all three committees have talked about that grant, hopefully being utilized toward this. So, not sure.
The Board of Selectmen, I think, defined the limits when they set up our committee. So I think they maybe will need to take some action if we're reducing the scope of this project, which should be perfunctory, but
Well, I know they the limits as far as financing it.
no, the physical limits. What areas are covered. So if we're going to take out Maple Street from this project, I think that might just require action by the Board of Selectmen, because they actually defined the physical limits of the project when they gave us a charge, and I think when they signed the contract with the Malone and Broom.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I was just saying about defining the limits on our plans.
Yeah.
So we bid exactly what you guys want to have in the documents.
Okay, well, I understand that, but all along this TAP grant has been mentioned.
Right.
And all along it has been thought that it might be able to be utilized if it comes to light.
Right, and I think that's great. I'd love to take Maple Street out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. So the reason I want to bring this up is Mike, I know that you had things separated at one point, but then because we hadn't heard from this, it was put back together. So I think that you continue doing what you're doing, but we'll have to. When's the next selectmen's meeting? I know they have a special meeting tonight, but I don't think that's.
No.
We already had
I don't
it.
think we're.
Yeah, it's December 8th, I believe. But we have, so Barbara, Mike, and I need to meet with the what we have to get together and go through the grant, and make sure that, you know, the pieces and parts are the right pieces and parts that are attached to each grant. And then we can certainly get you, you know, what the parameters are that TAP grant are going to cover. I don't
Okay.
have it right on the tip of my fingers.
Okay, well, I mean, you know, Chris Garrity had mentioned in one or two of the selectmen's meetings that, you know, we're charged with getting the job done, and it wasn't our responsibility to worry about financing. But
Right.
I think that if you're charged to get a job done, that you should be charged to focus on financing as well. So we'll,
The
you know, if
financing is but the financing is all already in place and appropriated and
yep, and
was
I remember the
resolved.
meeting. I remember the meeting, and I remember speaking up in favor of the town appropriating the funds, and I'm sure anyone else who was there remembers me speaking up about it. And I also remember that it was said to everybody to help pass this, that we do not have to spend all of that money. So if this TAP grant can be utilized, I think it has to be utilized. But that's only my opinion. I'm just reminding everybody that everybody was told that night that even that we're just appropriating the funds because we couldn't go any farther. Therefore, everybody said, okay, we're in, with the condition that we do not have to spend all of the money if we don't have to.
I'm with you, Mike. I'm not saying that.
No,
that
I'm
we shouldn't.
not demanding anything. I'm just
No.
reminding people.
Right. I just think to procedurally, we just need to have the Board of Selectmen, if Maple Street and down at the greenhouse are covered under the TAP grant, I just think procedurally, we need to have them take action to take it out of this project.
I understand that,
Okay.
and I agree with you on that,
Okay.
John. I'm not saying we're, you know, I just, when I will be giving selectmen an update on December 8th, and part of that I'm thinking, and we should probably vote on it, whether I should push that or not. I don't know. What do you guys think? Boy, a lot of no comments here.
The selectmen, when it got talked about, I suggested to them that we're gonna have to, there's some town involved even with the TAP grant, a match that we have to do. If there's remaining funds because of that, doing so much of the project, that they may want to consider adding Elizabeth Street to this current project and get it all done at once instead of having to sit around and wait for however many years to get more money to do that.
But Elizabeth Street doesn't, the TAP grant wouldn't cover Elizabeth
Not
Street.
the
I'm sorry?
The TAP grant money doesn't, no, but whatever you were going to spend out of the town funding, the bond, if there's enough money there to do that, then why not do it now instead of waiting and having to go out to redo everything again? That's up to the
Oh,
selectmen.
I know that. It's up to us to make whatever recommendations we can, is my understanding.
Yeah.
No? Yes?
I move that we ask the Board of Selectmen to confirm or redefine the scope of this project in consideration of the TAP grant.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
So
Aye.
can we discuss it?
Oh, well,
I
I'm
gotta let
sorry.
people discuss it.
Is that, Jean, is that you?
Yeah, my audio does not work on my computer.
Okay,
So
well,
I'm
your
calling-
video doesn't, or whatever. We hear you, but we can't see you. That's why I didn't know if it was you. Okay,
Yep.
so, discuss, I thought we did discuss it, but okay, let's discuss it before we vote. Anyone have anything else to add?
Changing the scope, you have to go back and look at the resolution that was passed by the town and the scope in the grant. I think you're.
Well, that's what we're asking the
rushing.
Board of Selectmen to do, Gene. If you want to run this meeting, I'll just sign off.
No, I don't. I don't
And,
know,
I
Mike.
mean, it's our
I'm
job
just-
to come to you with our recommendations, and you're at the meetings trying to tell us what to do with our job. So are you going to
No,
let us
I'm not. I'm
decide?
just
Are you going to let us
offering up
discuss this and come to what we want to suggest to the board? Or are you going to just do it for us? I mean, because there's you and Ed, there are two of the three selectmen here anyways. We understand that we have to, that it has to go back, and we understand that it's up to the Board of Selectmen to change things. We just are discussing bringing our recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And
Are you finished? May I speak?
sure, go ahead.
All I'm doing is offering up comment for discussion. And I'm not at all trying to run your meeting, not at all. I'm just trying to have a discussion and be engaged in the conversation.
Well, Gene, do you agree that it would be necessary for the Board of Selectmen to change the scope of this project if we remove the areas of the TAP grant?
I'm not sure what your not sure what your question is.
Well, the TAP grant can't be part of this project that we're going out to bid for right now, because it's a separate grant and it can't include things that we're already, this is my understanding anyway. I don't, Mike Doherty has to finish these plans and get things out to bid and the specs. And I think the TAP grant needs to be considered as a separate project. So I just think that legally the Board of Selectmen need to change the scope of this project that we're working on right now to remove the areas that would be covered under the TAP grant if they think they would be covered.
I don't think we really need to change the scope of the whole thing. If they request Mike and his team to put out the bidding so that it's only been, at one point it was said it was in 2 phases, but that was the wording that ended up with the TAP grant. But
yeah,
if we bid out phase 1, which would be everything north and west of the light, and then do a phase 2, which would be the TAP grant area, and then if they decide they want to do more, then that'd be phase 3. Or
okay, but Mike Doherty needs something specific and something that we can all hang our hats on. If we're only going out to bid for part of what has been the whole project so far. I mean, I think it's a simple thing for the Board of Selectmen to look at this and say, okay, we're going to do phase 1 and phase 2. But I think it has to be something official.
Right. I thought that's what we were going to go with the Board of Selectmen with.
Yeah. And if they don't want to do it, that's fine. But I think we just need a resolution.
Yeah, but in light of the fact that we have been granted the TAP grant, this sort of changes things a little bit, and that's what I thought we were voting to go to the selectmen and suggest, because my understanding is that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Make recommendations to them.
If they say we don't have to change, then that's fine.
Right. Right. I agree with you, John. I'm just, but that's what we had discussed, and that's what we were going to go to the board with. Am I correct or not?
That's what I think.
Okay. Gene, do you have anything else to add?
I do not.
Okay, so John, if you don't mind repeating your,
I move that we ask the Board of Selectmen to confirm or redefine the scope of the current project in consideration of the TAP grant.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Rick, how are
Yep.
we with the purchase of materials? I know you're not on the agenda, but I didn't get to Joyce to ask her to put you there. So I think now is a good time.
I haven't actually purchased anything because Barbara and I have been trying to discuss it with the guy from the state. Because they told me even if we ordered the materials, we wouldn't be getting anything till springtime. I mean, the gravel we can get and the other incidentals, but the granite. And wanted confirmation from him if that was just a purchase order was going to be all right with him before we did it. Because if it's not, then I don't want to screw up the bid process with the contractor having to bid everything.
Okay, Barbara, are we since we are beyond the 15th of November, are we still in line to get this stuff done and any invoices paid by the end of the month, which is what I understand? I think that's what you had mentioned
Correct.
before.
That was the criteria that they had set forth for me. I don't think there's any way possible to spend even $100,000 of that grant money in time. So Rick and I have discussed reaching back out to the state and seeing if we can't get more of an extension and see what
Okay.
happens. We have to throw it out
Okay.
there. The most they can say is no.
Okay, so at this point, we're at the mercy of them prolonging or giving us the extension.
Right, because even if we purchase the materials that are outlined in the grant that they approved, it's not going to spend anywhere near the amount of the grant.
Oh, Rick mentioned that at our last meeting, that we were at
Right.
best 100,000.
Right, so
Yeah.
to piggyback on what Rick just said, it may not even be worth it to spend $100,000 to mess up the whole bidding process in the spring. So
I agree. I mean, what's it going to save? In fact, it would probably cost us more than that to split it out.
right, so again,
At this point anyways, right?
correct. So again, just to reiterate, that's
Okay.
in a holding pattern today.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that
Um,
would be $400,000 out of our planned amount of money we're spending. Then,
500, isn't it?
well, with the 100,000, but yeah, 500 total.
Correct.
Yeah, because we're not going to get the 100,000 unless they extend the whole
Yep.
thing.
And for the minute,
Okay.
since I can't keep these straight, which grant is that? Is that the connectivity?
Yes. No.
The Main Street grant.
Main Street.
The
Okay.
Main Street grant.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, well, that settles that. So where do we go next, folks?
The last selectmen's meeting, I got jumped all over by Chris Garrity, wanting to know the exact time frame and where we are on the sidewalks committee. He said it's been long enough. We should have had things in writing by now. And I just wanted to bring it up to the committee because he was very upset with all of us not having a time frame yet. And I explained to him that we're doing easements. We're still working on finishing up with the plans and the state, and everybody's working the best they can, but he didn't accept that answer and he wanted a time frame. So I just wanted the committee.
Well, Mike has given us one this evening.
Yep.
And I will
wrote it
pass
down.
that at the selections meeting on December 8th. I will pass that time frame on to them and let them know where
No.
everybody is.
No, that's why I'm not saying good or bad. I just want everybody to know.
No, I get it, and I don't blame him for wanting some information. You know, it's
Yep.
been long enough.
Yep.
What time
Well-
is that meeting on the 8th?
6:30.
Yeah.
6:30? Okay,
I say tell Chris that we'd have sidewalks in place if he hadn't kept messing around with everything.
I kept biting my tongue the whole meeting.
Good for you, Ed.
time frame. So at the selectmen's meeting, I will give them the time frame that Mike has given us this evening. Although by the 8th, what's that, 2 more weeks, 3 weeks? I can look at the calendar.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3.
3 weeks. So maybe by then we'll have more information to give them. If you guys think I should, I can do an email and send it to them so they have it to read, but I'd rather just present it at their public meeting like we're supposed to. What do you think? Do you want me to give them an earlier heads up?
If you want, send me a copy in writing in case something happens. You can't make the meeting last minute.
Yeah. Well, everybody will get a copy of it.
Right. And that way I can read it
Yep.
if something happens and you
Right.
can't make the meeting,
Yep.
you know.
Yep, I will do that. Anyone see a need to schedule a meeting at this point? Let's see, we have, if the meeting's on the 8th, on the 3rd, which is 2 weeks from today, we could have another meeting just to give us any more updates before the 8th.
I think it's a good schedule one.
Okay, so why don't we schedule our next meeting for the 3rd of December, which is a Thursday at 5:30.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that?
I won't be able to make it. I have a DOT appointment for my license renewal at 3:40. I'm sure by the time I get back, I may miss the meeting.
I don't mind delaying it if you want, or do you guys want to just go ahead? It's up to you.
You want to make it 6 o'clock?
Hey, you can go ahead without me. If I get back on time, I'll just join in. All
Well, why don't we do it at 6 o'clock? That gives an extra half hour
right.
for you to, December
I mean-
3rd at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Joyce, you have that?
I do, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all you're doing and getting these meetings set up for us. Sorry, it's a pain in the neck when I keep.
No problem.
All right, so next meeting, December 3rd, 6 o'clock. What?
Yeah.
Somebody was going to say.
Can I get a clarification on, I don't even know how to pronounce the name, Sorensen, who apparently is co-managing the Barnes project now?
Yeah, she would be the one in charge.
How's her name
talk to
pronounced?
us.
I did meet her once.
Mike,
I
have you
believe
spoken with
her
her?
title's arborist. She works for Rock Cobble Farm.
Yes.
Takes care of all their plantings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know how to pronounce her first name?
I don't recall.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it was Loren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It was just a new name to me, so
Yeah.
thanks.
So Mike, Doherty, you were going to get a hold of her. Was that my minutes correct?
Yeah, I spoke to her.
Oh, okay.
So I think the last meeting we didn't have it. I sent an email. Did everyone with a recap? Did you guys all see that?
I didn't.
Which,
So Mike and I spoke and decided we weren't going to have the meeting. I guess that was 2 weeks ago. And so that day I sent an update in email form to the Streetscape Committee.
yeah,
Account.
November 5th, right. Got it.
You got it, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Mike, can I ask you a quick question?
Which Mike?
Right now, they put the granite in front of that new building with all the little cobblestones in. How high is that step up going to be? I remember you said you were something about you're going to look into the height of that.
So yeah, temporarily it's going to be higher than.
Is that?
So
can
right
they
now
do
it's like
that?
a 10-inch.
Yeah, can they do that legally with a step that high off into nowhere land? And would the town be liable since it's a joining our sidewalk right now?
Well, it's on their property, and my understanding was, and Rick might have a better understanding, that they were gonna, or they asked the town to temporarily, or I guess they were gonna temporarily patch in some asphalt underneath that step so to make it not such a large drop.
Okay.
And then we'd come in with our sidewalks and raise up about 5 inches, so it would end up being a 5-inch step.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. And my other, so all that area with anything that they have a landing going up onto that, is that approved by ADH handicap codes going onto cobblestone from our sidewalk?
The building
That's-
inspector's gonna review that. I know they had
Yeah.
problems in the rear. Those other buildings, they were right on it. I don't
Yeah.
think they'll get a CO unless it meets the code requirements.
Okay,
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's all-
they use cobblestones as long as they have the right pitches and the right with the stone
Yeah.
dust. Okay, all right, that's why I
Yeah,
was just,
and it's on their property, so the town won't really have to take any responsibility for that.
okay, all right. Just because it runs into our sidewalk, that's all I'm wondering. Okay,
Yeah.
good, okay.
Okay, does anyone else have anything to add? Then I move we adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks all.
Okay.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Good night.
You
Good
too.
Good night, everybody.